Hello and welcome to my first video in a while. Sorry about that, but today we are going back to Pokemon Gen 1, and I am going to be remaking the Gen 1 gym leaders and taking their normal teams and making instead more thematic teams. What that means is that we are going to be using the established lore and quotes about these characters to instead of their monotype teams, give them teams that are more thematic. For instance, just because someone is a bird keeper doesn't mean that the only thing they would have would be flying type Pokemon. For an aim here, I'm trying to keep at least one of their original team members as an ace, but other than that, I want to ensure that their teams are made up of only Gen 1 Pokemon, that they fit inside of that team, and at least half of these Pokemon should be rare, or just things that the player has not seen yet in their playthrough. Something that when the player gets to it, they go, whoa. And we start with Brock. He's the rock-hard gym leader whose defenses are an impenetrable wall, and that new trainers just can't get through. Unless those trainers have a Bulbasaur, or a Squirtle, or are playing the Let's Go games. His team in the base game is a Geodude and an Onix. With these Pokemon, there's not a lot to work with here other than a defensive theme. So we want to give him Pokemon that are going to be very defensive. So this new Brock, I'm going to get rid of that Geodude. Tragedy for my Geodude homies out there. They're real dudes. Geodude is now going to be a Dratini. Why a Dratini? Because a Dratini is Dragon type, which means that it will resist fire, grass, and water type attacks. So all three of the starters are going to have trouble using their typed moves on this Dratini. After the Dratini will then come the Onix, which they then need to swap back to their original moves for. Unless you are a Charmander player, in which case, I'm so sorry. And in terms of a strategy, I think that both these Pokemon should have Wrap or Constrict to show off the fact that he's banking on being defensive, that he is slowly drawing out this fight by just wrapping around and squeezing you until you're dead. And now it is Misty, whose Pokemon style is an all-out offense, according to her. To be honest, she's not bad at it. She's got a Staryu and a Starmie. Those are two amazing Pokemon that are both very fast, very strong, and can really do a lot to an unprepared team. I'm going to be bumping up her team to 3 Pokemon because 3 is the smallest number that humans can establish a pattern with. Her new team is going to start with a Mankey. It's Angie, it's Monkey, and it is fast. Perfect for an all-out offense. And then she's going to send out a Fearow. It's another fast physical attacker. And then last is her ace Starmie. Starmie might look a bit slow, but it is very fast and it's got good attack. It is perfect for an all-out offense strategy. And to complement that, all of her Pokemon are going to be using Focus Energy. Since crits will bypass anything that you do to lower her attack, will go through anything you've done to lower your defense. So she just prays for that critical hit and just starts attacking. Next we go to Lieutenant Surge, the Lightning American. And Lieutenant Surge has 3 Pokemon, so I don't have to add in a new imaginary one. He has a Voltorb, a Pikachu, and a Raichu. It's actually interesting how his team is very similar to Misty's. He has a Pokemon, and then its evolution that you get with a stone. So I guess like Misty, he's having some monetary issues getting that second stone. Oh well. Surge is a lieutenant, and he says that he brought his Pokemon to war. So let's go with a war theme for his Pokemon. It's odd that there are so many good Pokemon for war. Let's start with Voltorb. Instead of his old Pokemon being his ace, instead it's going to be his lead. Because it is a grenade. It will use self-destruct. It will hurt you. A lot. Next up will then be a Machoke. It's a soldier. It's big, it's strong, it's muscly, and it will punch you. Just like soldiers do. Well, soldiers punch me personally. I don't know if they punch you. And then as an ace, he is going to be using a Chansey. And it has the move Egg Bomb. I would say that bombs fit into war pretty well. I'm not going to be making any attempts to change Pokemon for any of the other gym leaders. But I feel like Chansey should get Revival Blessing, which is a move that only Pawmi currently can learn. It's a move that allows you to revive a fainted Pokemon on your team. Chansey is the nurse. It really should have that move. And if it could get that move, it would be hilarious. Because imagine that the Voltorb goes out, it explodes. The Chansey uses Revive to bring back that exploded Voltorb, and then he sends out Voltorb to explode again. But for his strategy, he is also going to be using moves that have a static damage value. Things like Sonic Boom and Seismic Toss. So you can't really resist him or be immune to him. Instead, you have to just tank static damage. Number 4, after Rock Tunnel and a walk through Lavender Town, you get to Erica. She's a sleepy lady who loves her garden. In the base games, she has a Victory Bell, a Tangela, and a Vileplume. No repeats, they're fully evolved. This is just a good team. But it's all grass types, so let's change that. And I'm going to stick with this very garden theme. She will start with a Butterfree, a pretty little butterfly that flies inside the garden. It might not be a rare Pokemon, and it might not be strong, but anyways, next is Seaking. It is an elegant koi fish, so it makes sense that she would have one in her garden koi pond. Third will be an Eevee, her adorable little dog that does gardening with her. Personally, I find that when my dog helps me with gardening and just sort of digs holes. Sometimes it also poops in them. But it's always so cute when it does it. The digging, I mean, not the pooping. As her final Pokemon, I want her to have a Vileplume. Vileplume is a Rafflesia, which is a very stinky flower, but it's still a flower. And comparing it to the other grass types, they're not much better. Palm trees aren't normally found in gardens. At least you don't find them inside of indoor gardens. Tangela is just a bunch of weeds. Bulbasaur is a starter Pokemon. And Victory Bell, that just feels a little bit too vicious for the garden. But for strats, she's going to be very different. We've reached the halfway point. These strats can start getting a bit more complicated. So her team is going to be using Rest. And they're all going to be holding Chesto Berries. She is a gardener Pokemon trainer after all, so she can grow these Chestos. So instead of using normal potions like other gym leaders, she's instead using Rest to heal her Pokemon. And now it is time for everyone's favorite Elite Four prospect, Koga. He's a ninja who uses mucks and coughings, and sometimes Venonat, On a personal note, I hate Koga so much. There are so many poison types in Kanto, and he uses 2. And sometimes his gym fight is only 1 Pokemon. 4 times! God, he sucks. For this battle, he is going to be using Toxic Stall Strats. Nobody's favorite, but it is very ninja. He'll start this battle off with a Sand Slash. It digs into the arena. That's how he gets into buildings to do his ninja business. It'll Toxic you, then dig so that it gets a turn where you can't hit it. And maybe also give it Protect, just to be really mean. Then Scyther. It's faster than you, so it will get the Toxic off. Then it can use Protect. Beautiful. Third will be Mr. Mime. Not a conventional ninja choice, but these invisible walls are perfect for Koga. He has invisible walls in his gym. It fits so well. And then finally will be his signature Muck. If there's any Pokemon that can blend in, it would probably be the goopy one. The one that can seep through holes in walls, go up your storm drain, go into your pipes, come out your toilet, do an Ant-Man. Really, Muck is horrifying. The real problem I had with Koga was that there's too many good ninja Pokemon. There's Golbat, Haunter, Coughing, Fearow, Venomoth, Persian, Hypno, Tangela, Seadra, Victreebel, Jolteon, Kabutops, Dugtrio, and just giving him a Ninja Starmie. And after so much choice, we get to Sabrina. And Sabrina is the most type-coded gym leader I think I've ever seen. There's having a preference for the psychic type, and then there's just being the psychic trainer. Tate and Liza at least have a twin gimmick alongside of their ability to read minds. It is just fascinating how little there is going on with Sabrina. Her team normally has Mr. Mime, which she can read people's minds, so she knows that they're scared of Mr. Mime. And then it's normally a bunch of Kadabras and Alakazam. And sometimes she has an emotional support Venomoth, which I understand. I really personally like Venomoth. Let's see what other psychic Pokemon there are that aren't psychic type. In terms of Sabrina's strategy, let's focus on the fact that Psychic is just an amazing type in Gen 1. There's only 1 Steel-type Pokemon, and you have 0 Dark types. So, you're pretty good in terms of what a Psychic-type move would be good against. Why not just let her rip? Her strategy is just to boost her special stats and use the Psychic move. Sabrina can start off her gym battle with her Venonat. She likes it. It's not a Psychic type, but it is Psychic themed, so why interrupt with her workflow? She knows what she wants, so I'm just going to give it to her. After that, we can give her a Ninetales. Ninetales is based off of Japanese yokai and myths, so it's got that magic vibe. The dex talks about how it curses people. Perfectly suitable for the gym. It can even have Flamethrower so it can get rid of all the bugs that would annoy her. And then we can give her Psychic so it can deal with all the grass types. Since, all the grass types are also poison. Except for Execute and Tangela, but if you are using Tangela at Sabrina's gym, you have done something horribly wrong. Then, Clefable. I'm not 100% sure what Clefable's entire deal is, but hey, if there's anything that can read my mind, it's Clefable. Probably. We round this all out with Alakazam, the most psychic-type Pokemon in perhaps the whole series. The only one that even comes close, in my opinion, is Gardevoir, and now that's not even Psychic, now it's a Fairy. So Psychic type is still championed by Alakazam. And then from the most type-coded gym leader to, I think, the least, it's the fire-type leader Blaine, who shows off his fire-typeness by wearing a lab coat and having a red tie. I do not understand how this man is supposed to be seen as fire-type, or for that matter, how his gym gimmick of quizzes is a fire-type thing. It's such a weird gym leader. I would expect someone like him to be the electric gym leader, Surge to be fire or fighting. But I didn't make Gen 1. Normally his teams are just Ponytaws and Growliths. Oh, but in Gold, Silver, and Crystal, he gets a Magmar and a Magcargo. Blaine, I don't think, knows how to build a Pokemon team. But neither do I, so let's move on. Blaine is a scientist, and his gym is all about testing. So I was thinking, maybe use Pokemon with very few weaknesses. But this is Gen 1 only. There's not a lot of options for that, so I had to revamp. So I thought about using Science Pokemon. But then there wasn't really a strategy with that. But I've combined those Science Pokemon with a new idea. He is here to test you on previous gyms. So he is going to use the strategies of the previous gyms that you've already fought. He's going to lead off with a Raichu. It's a Pokemon that evolves with a stone, so scientific research. And he will be using Lieutenant Surge's strategy, giving it Seismic Toss. As well as Surf, since Surge is from a seaside town, and you have to surf or cut in order to get into his gym. Next up is his example of Misty's team, which is going to be a Porygon. Misty's style was an all-out offense, starting with using Focus Energy. So, this Porygon is going to be using Focus Energy, and to improve on Misty, it's also going to be holding the Scope Lens. Porygon also fits because it is a science Pokemon made in a lab. Next up is Koga's strategy being used by Exeggutor. It's going to Toxic you, it's going to Leech Seed you, it's going to Protect to keep itself safe and have you slowly die, and also Psychic just for coverage. Up next we have Omastar, which is another Pokemon that would have come from Cinnabar Labs next door to this gym. And while it can't learn Psychic, which is the core of Sabrina's strategy, I feel like using moves like Surf and Ancient Power emulate her strategy decently, because they're also moves that, in combination, very few Pokemon will resist. Give it also like an Ice Beam and an illegal Calm Mind, because they can't normally learn that. And you've got yourself a very powerful Pokemon. And then the last thing that he is going to be using is going to be Erica's strategy on an Arcanine, giving it extreme speed, Flamethrower, Crunch, these powerful moves, and then rest. This dog, you think you've killed it, and then it resets back up to full, but because this is an improvement, it's holding a Lumberry instead of just a Chestoberry. If the player thinks they can do some wacky status effects, poison the Arcanine right as soon as it gets in, Arcanine heals it and gets a free hit in on you. Then we have Giovanni as the final gym leader. He is the leader of Team Rocket, so you've fought him a bunch. So you know that he is a money-obsessed villain. He steals candy from babies. Probably. I don't know, I steal lunch money from babies when I beat them up with my Pokemon, so maybe we're not so different. His normal teams have failed to, be great, because he doesn't evolve his Rhyhorns. But he does have a Nidoking and Nidoqueen, which are great Pokemon, and he uses Dugtrio. Who doesn't love Dugtrio? Lieutenant Surge doesn't love Dugtrio. those are some good Pokemon choices. He just doesn't give them the right moves. So they're just held back. Also, the fact that he is weak to water, and there's so many water Pokemon, and you need a Pokemon with Surf to traverse the map, so you're definitely good against him. He is the self-proclaimed strongest trainer in the world. Yeah, I feel like he should change up his team a little. For a theme, Giovanni is, well, he's a gangster. But gangster-themed teams is sort of the rest of Team Rocket's deal. So for his gym, I want him to be using Pokemon that the self-proclaimed strongest trainer would want, which is Pokemon that require no investment. You get them, and right out of the box, they're incredibly powerful. But I don't want Giovanni to seem incredibly smart, so I don't want any of them to be using stab moves. So their strategy is to use the coverage moves that they have. So he is strong. He is using good Pokemon that have powerful moves, but it shows Giovanni's lack of understanding about how to actually be an effective trainer. So he will lead off with a Snorlax. It's got Shadow Ball, it's got Earthquake, Rollout, and Stab Covet to steal your item, because he is still a gangster at the end of the day. But let's be honest, it's Covet. It's not doing much damage anyways. Then the gruesome twosome of Electabuzz and Magmar. Both learn a bunch of amazing punches, conventional and elemental. They know the other's punch to cover their weaknesses. You think your grass type will save you from an electric attack? Well, Electabuzz fire punches you away. Oh, you think that water will work against Magmar? Face Thunder Punch. Then they both have their conventional punch, Brick Break and Cross Chop, as well as a Psychic, a TM which is surprisingly learned by both of these guys, and then just one more coverage move. Follow that up with Pinsir. This big bug is very threatening and scary. It can learn Swords Dance. And then Frustration is the other big move here. Just show that Giovanni doesn't treat his Pokemon well. And all of this is ended by the big bad Nidoqueen. I know before I said Pokemon that just are ready right out of the tin. In Gen 1, you can get a Nidoran, walk 2 routes, get into Mount Moon, and get the Moonstone to evolve it. There is a reason why speedrunners use the Nidos. It's because evolving them is so quick and easy. Then he is just going to load it up with powerful moves, good coverage from the TMs. Earthquake, Thunderbolt, Flamethrower, Ice Beam, all great. And Earthquake is actually a stab move. So, hey, maybe this Pokemon can do something. Thanks for watching this video. I know, it was so good that you already liked, but please like anyways. Again. Just keep liking, make a sock puppet, like it again. Just make sure you have at least 7 likes under this video. Please comment, subscribe to the channel in case you want to see another video in like 8 months. If this video gets some traction, I might make another one for Gen 2 or one of the other generations that's maybe a little bit more interesting than Gen 2. But probably going in sequential order, I'm going to do Gen 2. Unless someone tells me to really not do that. Thank you for watching. Have a good one.